Humanica may not look particularly interesting and enjoyable at first glance, but it's definitely a game you shouldn't judge by just its first appearance. This is a city builder that takes you from the Stone Age all the way to the Iron Age, starting around 10,000 BC. It's made by a solo developer, and honestly we have learned by now that games made by a solo dev can be every bit as enjoyable as a AAA game. It's got some interesting ideas even if it follows a familiar formula. The big thing that sets it apart is probably the turn-based structure, mixed with the city building. Each day acts like a turn where your settlers can only get a limited amount of work done. That means you're always thinking about efficiency. There is also this hex-based world map you can explore, and a landscape editing system, which not every game in the genre has. So here's how it works. You start with a handful of settlers who need you to tell them what to do. You are starting out gathering basic resources like sticks, stones, berries and meat. Your settlers need the typical stuff like housing, food, clothing, and tools to survive. In the beginning, they are using literal sticks and stones as tools, until you research better options. The game has a fairly big technology tree that you work through by collecting certain amounts of resources. You construct homes, warehouses for storage, workshops for crafting, and eventually things like farms and animal pens as you progress through the ages. The game's landscape isn't purely decorative either. You can actually edit it, dig out mountains or build them up if you want. The terrain has elevation that matters for both building placement and later for combat. The resource management of course is a constant concern. Food spoils over time, tools break with use, and pretty much everything has durability. You need to process raw materials, like drying pelts so they can be used for construction, or curing meat so it lasts longer. Winter is particularly rough because you can't gather food during these months, so you have to stock up beforehand. A thing to know is that your settlers don't work automatically for the most part. You have to assign them to buildings or manually tell them to gather specific resources. There are these gathering tools that let you mark areas for collection, which definitely helps and works most of the time, but the logistics can get tedious. One thing that's a bit annoying is there's no clear indicator of how many workers you have available versus how many are already assigned to jobs, unless of course I simply missed that information. The game also doesn't show you progress on the crafting tasks very well. The day-night cycle means settlers stop working at night, so you can skip ahead if you want. Time management becomes important because of the turn-based nature. Every action takes time, and you're trying to maximize what gets done each day. Defense is part of the game too. Wild animals and nomadic raiders will attack your settlement, so you need to arm your settlers and build walls with towers. There's a button that's pretty handy. It makes all your settlers drop what they're doing, grab weapons, and gather at the town hall when danger shows up. Now the world map is where things get a bit different. It's a hex-based map that you explore in a turn-based way. Moving to different tiles takes different amounts of time depending on terrain. You send units out to find new resources, seeds for farming, animals you can domesticate, and a few other useful things. Your explorers need to survive and make it back to actually deliver what they found. As you progress through the 5 stages, you unlock more complex production chains. There's also a system of laws and annual plans that let you customize how your settlement develops, with some randomization that adds a bit of unpredictability. Now don't get me wrong, there are some rough edges. For example, the hauling and storage system can be frustrating. Sometimes resources just sit outside warehouses, even when there is space. You also can't seem to turn off edge panning, if that bothers you. And if you've played similar games before, then this does feel pretty familiar. The developer is planning to add more complex combat, better construction options, and more content, which might help. It's coming to early access and should stay there for 3 to 6 months. And this sentence concludes today's video. If your time was respected, a like or comment is very much appreciated.